Hello, this is Arturelia Anime Room Reviews. I'm Arturo, and today I'll be reviewing. So, when Casshern Sins came on Toonami, I wasn't like, rather Inuyasha be on there. So for a while, I didn't really care about Casshern Sins. I did watch it, yes, but I've also missed a few episodes when it was on the blog. And after when it concluded, I was like, it wasn't my favorite show on Toonami. And then when I decided to rewatch it again because I missed few episodes when it was on to make this review, well, I have changed my opinion about it. So what do I think of it now since it aired on Toonami? Well, that's why you're here. Today, I'll be reviewing Casshern Sins. Let's go.
What have I done? Tell me.
How could you forget such a thing? Huh? It was so despicable.
After the death of Luna, the world went into ruin. Now, besides humans dying, robots die too, as a result of the ruin. Casshern can't remember anything up until then, yet everyone blames him for the death of Luna and the start of the ruin. Now he will travel and make new friends and will learn about his past, but also seek the truth about what happened. But also another rumor that Luna is alive. From humans and robots flock to see her and to get healed. What will happen? He will run into people along his journey, or robots, but will also fight, as he is known to bring death. The soundtrack in this show kind of reminded me a bit of Inuyasha. Some of the soundtracks, not all of it, but some of it just sounded familiar. Or it sounded kind of like that. And I gotta say, there is one song in here that is really, really touching and beautiful. One of the best songs in this show. The animation is pretty nice and detailed in the fighting scenes. Some characters are bright, while the rest of the world is gloomy due to the ruin. And it's got a different art to it. So, most of the characters in this show are interesting, and also ones that at least what Casshern runs into, are interesting themselves, even though they only have one screen time. Casshern is the main character. Like I mentioned, he doesn't remember what happened. He does feel like he carries a sin and is made to fight. Though he does learn while he travels and meeting other people and robots about the meaning of life. He is also immortal, and near the end, he will never know how it feels to be alive. Then you have the vengeful type, Luze, or Leuze, if I'm even pronouncing it right, who Casshern killed her sister along with Luna, wants revenge for them. But during the course of the show, she will change her mind when seeing Casshern at points, and she's very skillful in fighting with one sword from her hand. Then you have the little girl, Ringo. Ringo is cheerful and never really pays attention to the ruin surrounding her. She is always very cheerful in life and spirit. OG is an older robot who watches over Ringo. His past is a mystery until several episodes later. You find out about him and even Ringo herself. And like I mentioned, side characters that Casshern runs into are interesting. Some have reasons to live, some do what they do during this apocalyptic ruin. And as for the villains, well, there are bad guys here and there. I guess you could say some of the villains here, there are at least maybe 3 villains. Even though they pop up, at least once in a while, at least this guy. Now, of course, Casshern runs into bad guys while traveling. Breaking Boss. You only see him once in a while, but he's really a mysterious robot. And obviously, when you hear him talk, he just sounds mysterious. But he seems to know a lot about Casshern and other situations that happened prior to the ruin. Then you have Dio and Leda. And they are probably the only 2 villains, yet Dio is more of someone that just wants to fight Casshern. And Leda wants to stop the ruin from destroying her beautiful body. And like I mentioned, Breaking Boss, sinister, yet he never has a lot of screen time. Only at points when the characters run across him. Overall, the 2 characters that are obviously badass, Leuze and Casshern. And Liuze has a thing about her that just makes her interesting. She's obviously, yes, bad at it. And Casshern, while calm, he's cool. Until he fights the bad guys. That's when he goes into full killer mode. As for my enjoyment, like I said, when I watched it on Toonami when it came back, well, not the first day when Toonami came back, the second week after Toonami came back, I watched like the second episode. I did enjoy it when it was on, but it wasn't something I really cared for that much. I wanted to see Inuyasha on the block, because I was all into Inuyasha at that time, and just Inuyasha at that time. And like I said, I missed a few episodes here and there, along with Dead Man Wonderland. However, I did watch it when it concluded. Though, at the time, it wasn't really my favorite show that was on the block, along with Dead Man Wonderland. After rewatching it again, obviously due to missing some episodes, to tell you the truth, I actually really enjoyed it, just like Dead Man Wonderland. I'm thinking to myself, why did I think this way back then? This is actually a really good show. However, I will say the conclusion to this show is kind of, but I mean, it's fine, but don't expect the ending you want to see. Or at least the ending that you're expecting to see. And the sad part is, will there be a new season? Doubt it. I did get pretty attached to the characters and their suffering during the whole apocalyptic ruin that was killing everyone, including humans and robots. However, I do feel like there wasn't enough stuff about the past that I would have at least liked to see, because all it is focused on the apocalypse, but we never see, only mentioned about what it was like before the ruin. I would have liked maybe to see a little bit more detail about that, but we don't get much of that. It's just the apocalypse. We're only set in the present, which is fine, but I feel like there could have been more, world building over the past, just to know what it was like even before then. I mean, we know that it was a beautiful planet, like, you know, our planet, but all we're focused on now is just ruin, and that's it. I would have liked to see more of that, but oh well.
So then, that girl was... I don't know if she was dumped here or not, but whatever the case.
Casshern Sins, I gotta say, I actually really enjoyed it when rewatching it again to refresh my mind. And just like Dead Man Wonderland, it is actually really good. I don't know whether or not, I mean, I'm a little conflicted how to rate it. It's not something I would overly come back to see again, but it wasn't bad. It was really good. Some episodes were better than others, and some I actually did enjoy and like. While the beginning kind of starts off with this building up of the ruin and not going into the past of what came before the ruin, I would not mind to see that, but we don't get it. However, though, the characters are really interesting, and some of the music, and well, at least that one music, the beautiful music, really touching and really beautiful at the same time. So I gotta say, this would probably get the same rating as Dead Man Wonderland, a 7.5 out of 10. While some stuff may be a little confusing at points in this show, or just other things, well, I mean, you will have to see. I mean, it does go into the details of certain supernatural elements and all that, and robots and humans. Overall, though, it was an interesting anime, I can say that. Wasn't bad at all. You will enjoy this anime until the very end. As for my recommendation, I will, well, I can't think of an apocalyptic anime about robots. That's the thing. I can't really think of anything to recommend. Well, I mean, if you want an apocalyptic sort of deal, I guess go and log on, because that does have robots, but that's all I can really think of. Well, this is Arturelia Anime Room Reviews, signing off.